Hi guys, welcome back to another tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use an animated navigation bar, a tab bar for your React Native project. So why would you need a navigation bar? Well, obviously for navigation and for routing. So this is going to be a simple navigation bar which is going to be placed at the bottom of the screen, and I'm going to be creating three different screens. So three different screens just to show you guys how it works. And for this tutorial I'm going to be using a sample React Native project, just like all my other tutorials. But if you're using your own React Native project, then you can just follow along and you can continue. Right, so the first thing I need, so for this tutorial I have just a while ago I finished the application, and this is the application. So it's nothing big, very simple process. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a new project, and I'm going to be showing you guys what to add to the new project. So I'm going to be walking through the tutorial. I'm going to be showing you guys. Right, so the first thing you need to do is you need to have your React Native project ready. So I'm going to go ahead and create one. In my case, it's going to be React Native init, and I'm going to name it as navigation bar, right? So it's going to be React Native init navigation bar, right? So hit enter. So it's just going to create a sample React Native project. So just make sure you guys have your own projects ready, and I'm going to give it some time. Right, so as you guys can see, the application has been built, and I've initialized the React Native application. So I'm just going to show you guys inside the folder, and it's just the sample React Native one, so nothing big. So right, so we're going to be modifying this now. This is the original sample one. We're going to be modifying this, and then I'm going to be running it on the emulator, and I'm going to be showing you guys how an animated tab bar works. Right, so for this project we're going to be needing a few things. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to need to add a few dependencies. So I'm going to go ahead and install these dependencies. So the first thing you need to do is you need to install React Navigation tabs. So we're going to be needing React Navigation tabs. So go ahead and type npm install React Navigation tabs and hit enter, and give it some time. And after this we're going to be needing, I think, one more dependency. So, and we're going to be needing to add, so actually two more dependencies. So the first one will be React Navigation, the second one will be a bunch of dependencies bundled together. So just give it some time. Right, so now that React Navigation tabs is installed, the second dependency we're going to need is we're going to need to install React Navigation. So go ahead and type npm install React Navigation, hit enter, and just give it some time. Right, so now that React Navigation has been installed, the next thing and one final group of dependencies we need to add is we're going to need to add a few screens and Jest Chandler. This is to ensure that so when I first did the application on this system, on this project, using this project, then I got a few bugs. So in order to combat that, I had to install a Jest Chandler. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys how that works, and go ahead and install this, follow along. Right, so you're going to need to install and save React Native Jest Chandler and React Native Reanimated and React Native screens. So screens are going to be needed for the initial login, as for the initial boot up. So just go ahead and install these three. And just give it some time. And once this is done, you should be finished with the dependencies, and we can go ahead to the initial final coding. Right, so now that we've installed the dependencies, the next thing we're going to need to do is we're going to wipe out the entire app.js. So we're not going to be needing this, so just say goodbye to this, and I'm going to go ahead and delete everything here and save and write. So we're going to start from scratch. So the first thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to create some screens. So to show you guys how this works, I'm going to be creating three screens. So I'm going to create a file called screens.js. Now you may be having your own screen, so you can just follow along. And within this screens.js, I'm going to be adding this, and I'm going to be explaining to you guys how this works, right? So I'm going to go ahead and add this. So this project, this one I just did a few hours ago, 2 or 3 hours ago, and it's already working. So I'm going to show you guys. Right, so inside screens, I'm going to add this. So let me just explain to you why I've done this. Right, so I've imported the dependencies and the libraries. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 3 constants of a screen. So 3 mini objects, if you like it. So, and in each one, I'm going to be returning a view. So within the view, I'm going to be displaying the screens. So in the screen 1, I'm going to be displaying, this is the first screen, or I'm going to say test screen 1. So this is going to be my first screen. And in my second screen, screen 2, I'm going to be returning test screen 2, right? And in screen 3, I'm going to be returning test screen 3. Now, why am I doing this? Is because inside the animated navigation bar, I'm going to be having 3 icons at the bottom, 3 buttons. And when I click each one, it should shift between the 3 screens. So this is my first screen. This is the second one, is the third one. And this is styling for it. So this is styling for it. And I'm going to be exporting these 3 screens, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go back to app.js. And I'm going to show you guys what to add. Right. So the first thing you need to do is we're going to be using states over here. So the first thing you need to do is I'm going to go ahead and add these. These are going to be the imports. So I want to be using React and new state. And from React Native, I'm going to be using views, dimensions, and animated to display these screens. And create app container for React navigation. Yes, we're going to be navigating between these 3 screens. So to create the routes, I'm going to be using React navigation. And React navigation tabs, this is going to be for the bottom tab at the bottom. And screens from this screens file, screens.js, I'm going to be importing these 3 screens. So I'm going to go ahead and copy all these and add it at the top. All right, so our imports is done. So the next thing I'm going to need is I'm going to need to create the instance of the app. So within the app, I'm going to be returning the app container, and within that is going to be the navigation at the bottom. Right. So I'm going to go ahead and create the instance of the app and return it. Right. So now that we have this done, if you look over here, what we're going to do now is we're going to be displaying, or we're going to be creating the bottom of the screen. So this is going to be our bottom of the tab. So within this, I'm gonna, this is used, const width is used to get the dimension of the screen. So in a way, this is something to do with the responsiveness. So for each screen, the dimensions will be taken and the positions will be used for each screen, right? And this is used for the animation part. So when you props.navigation, if you've used this before, and if you've seen my previous tutorials, I may have used props.navigation. And this route is navigated between the 3 screens. So I'm just going to go ahead, and the background color I may be using, for example, blue. So I want to go ahead and copy this. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to show you guys what it does. Right, so just below the instance of the app, I'm going to go ahead and paste it. And if I go up, and just as I've explained this to you, I may not have to explain this properly. And yeah, this, I guess it is something to do with system. So if you look at this, the animations are ready and navigation is set. And for the timing as well. So when you click on each animation, when you click on each nav at the bottom, it's going to slide from one to another. So if you look at it, when I show you on the emulator, you're going to see that it doesn't just move on to the next screen. It actually gives a sliding position. So this is going to be used for that. And durations have been set. So this is actually a system function, if you think of it that way. So the next thing we're going to do is we're returning the view. In the view, we have the bottom tab bar, and on tab press, we have the route set. and we have the 3 keys for the routes. So we have the first screen, second screen, and the third screen. So don't worry, I'm going to be sharing this code on the site. I'm on the description below, in the description below. So just go ahead and follow along. So the next thing we're going to need is we're going to need to add the CSS and the navigations for it. So if you look at the navigations option, so I'm going to go ahead and at the bottom, I'm going to add this. Now, why do I need this? This is the configurations for the tab option. And within that, I'm going to have my navigation stack. So if you've used your navigation stack before, you know how a navigator works. So at the bottom, we have these individual screens, and these are the screen names. And within that, we have the screen. The screen 1 is the one I imported from this. Screen 2 import from this, and screen 3 import from this as well. And we have navigation option as well, but I've commented that out because we don't need any icons for now. And at the end, we have export default app. So if you look at this, guys, it's actually a simple thing. And I'm going to be showing you guys how this works. So don't worry, I'm going to be sharing the description or the link in the description below. And I'm going to be running this on my emulator right now and showing you guys how this works. So just go ahead and follow along. So I'm going to, right. So the next thing I'm going to need to do is wait for it, right? And yeah, it should be working now. Yeah, so it's working. So I'm going to go ahead and run my application. So npx react. Oh, I'm going to need to cd into my navigation bar. cd navigation bar and run the application, which is npx react native run Android. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter, and I'm going to show you guys how it works on the emulator. So now that the React Native application has been loaded onto the emulator, so you guys can see the application is running on the emulator, and we have the initial first screen, and below that we have the tab bar. So we have the notifications and we have the profile. So if I just click on any of these, it should move on. And testing screen 2 and testing screen 3. And you remember when I showed you the animated the methods, that was for the animation. As you see, transitions between each one. And so that was it. So thank you guys for watching, and I will be uploading and I will be providing a link in the description, and I will see you guys in the next tutorial.